and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sherry Ann.
So let's check in and get grounded and start with Pesh. So, do you want to go first?
You go today.
Okay. Physically, I am a 4.5. Emotionally, I am a 4.5. Spiritually, a 4.3, and hope is a 4.3, and my word is processing.
My turn. Physically 4, emotionally 4.2, spirit 4.3, hope 4.1, and my word is just a sigh.
Yeah. Sounds like a good sigh, not that I'm judging.
Yeah, it's a good sigh. It's like,
We'll take it. So today our topic is Cancer is a gift, which is a very provocative statement. And we truly do see cancer as a gift here at the Cancer Journey Institute. I mean, the work we do is deeply in cancer, and, very widely, the topic of cancer is a hard topic to broach or to approach, period. And so we do it in a way that's very gentle and loving, and just accepting that also, like, when cancer is here, it's here. We don't need to pretend that it doesn't exist. We don't have to tiptoe around it and feel like we're walking on eggshells. Like, let's have the conversation and get comfortable with this very true space we're in.
Yes. And I know that when somebody going through a new diagnosis or actively on their treatment journey and they hear cancer is a gift, they want to punch you in the face because they're struggling and it's challenging and it's hard. It is a perspective, but it's also one that I hold after going through my cancer. So that's a perspective. I get that. And my perspective of cancer is a gift, and thereby we kind of adopted at CJI, is because we're past the cancer journey and we have that gift of reflection back. We've also made it through this challenging time, and we can look back more optimistically, like, oh, that's what happened. And okay, yeah, I went through that. But what's most important to know is that in the pit is the beginning of transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And because cancer takes you down and makes you raw, and most people would say, well, that's not a gift. And I would absolutely agree. There is some almost like magic that happens, or just kind of this freeing that happens in the pit when you have to let go of the things that aren't working for you anymore, because you don't have the energy physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's like you're just depleted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that cancer is a gift in the same way that, like, so many things can happen in your life too that are on the same trajectory as the cancer roadmap, the cancer journey roadmap, that we will always go through pits, but will we always learn from them? Will we always be ready to shift? Are we going to be open and available to those shifts in our life without something as epic as cancer entering our lives? Like, cancer was really a gift because we often call it the call, we call it the initiation. It becomes this big stepping stone that really asks us to step up in ways that we haven't before. And so, pre-cancer, especially pre our own cancer, you're living a life that you can feel very complacent in, not in a bad way, very comfortable, and that's totally fine. But you're less willing to make changes that really serve you. You're more willing to put up with obstacles that really don't resonate with you, and you'll continue to not fight them, but even just like let them sit on you without wanting to make a change, because you don't have an impetus to. What cancer really gives you, it gives you that reminder that we only have one life. Why am I putting up with things that I wouldn't ordinarily put up with? Like, why am I saying that something is okay when it's not okay. And really, cancer is a gift because cancer gives you that drive to be like, actually, I matter. I matter just as much as all of the care that I put out there. I matter and my journey matters. And like, I get to say, this is hard right now. This is so hard to go through cancer, and I need help. I can't do it on my own, and I still deserve everything that I want.
Yes. Oh, you touched on so many things, and I just want to like pull them back and like expand on it a little bit. So there's that complacency or comfort where we just kind of not glide, but we're just existing. And if you've ever felt that feeling of, oh yeah, it's another day, and we kind of take life for granted, that's that first gift. Cancer says, whoa, 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 it's not going to last forever. And I want you to pay attention because the second point is you have one life. So it's that urgency, not with the, okay, get on the horse and start, trotting, not trotting, like racing along. It's let's have a life that's fulfilling, hugely satisfying, and and filled with the things that you want, whether that's adventure or beauty or learning and growing and stretching. Okay, I'm just naming all the things that life is about for me. But when you get complacent, you don't start leaning into that. You're like, this is just fine. I'll just stay here. And then all of a sudden, a week is gone, 2 weeks is gone, a month, a year. And then you look back going, so what was that about? Where cancer, like, put you right there in the
Mm-hmm.
front of that mortality line saying, here's what's going on, here's what's possible, there's life to be lived. So, how do you want to do that? And I
Mm-hmm.
know that feels stark. I mean, maybe I'm making it too dramatic, but it does put you kind of like considering your mortality, where complacency says, oh, I've got a lot of time and many days. And I really want to say, don't waste the time that you have, even if you have many, 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 many years. And I do wish that on you, but don't waste your time. It's like, let's talk about what you really want.
Mm-hmm.
And it does take sometimes that kick in the pants for you to start paying attention.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is it's such a big topic, right? Because um death is imminent. It's inevitable for all of us. And so we do live in a culture where each day, like, we're a little bit in avoidance of it, right? And by being in avoidance of it, we choose to be in kind of a comfortable, everything's okay place, which is not inherently a negative place. And it's not a bad place to be in, right? Like, oftentimes it comes from avoiding things that make you really sad, really depressed, really angry. But we that exists still in life, the like high highs, low lows, those exist to have a full life. So when we are avoidant of the inevitable, and we sit with just like, oh, it's okay, everything's okay, um life becomes very boring, and it becomes very stagnant. We don't really like it's when people find it really really hard to tune into, like, what more is there for me, what more do I actually want. Like, someone bumps you, right, so small, and you're like, oh, it's okay. Is it okay that you're being knocked over, that the space that you're taking up isn't being acknowledged? Is it okay when someone interrupts you and you just let them walk all over you? Like, does that really feel okay? And so, what, not just cancer, but this realization of there can be more, I can have everything I want and deserve. Um, it's not a challenge to those who have bumped into, it's acknowledgement of them. Actually, I was taking up space here, so like, don't bump me again, or like, let me actually have my piece and have my opinion and voice, and let me be fully me without minimizing. Because people out there, they don't even realize that they're minimizing you. You're choosing to minimize yourself. So why be small? Why
Yeah.
be small? You don't have to be loud to have your full self. And like, cancer is just that reminder for a lot of people that there's this full life to be lived, that it's not just about serving others. Yes, serving others is wonderful. For some people, that is their purpose, their fuel in life, but it's so much more than that because it should be what you're getting out of it as well. It's
Yeah.
not giving your whole soul away. It's about what it means to you, and all of the things that really fill your soul, right? Like learning, going out in nature. If it's sitting alone and being able to enjoy your time. But cancer really is that wake up call to like, oh right, death is imminent, regardless how it's coming. How do I what do I really want? Because no one's gonna take care of me but me. And no one's gonna give me what I want but me.
Exactly. It puts you right there, front and center. You have to pay attention to yourself and enlist the help of others so that you can get through this challenging journey. This is one of those journeys where you cannot do it yourself,
Mhm.
nor do you want to. That's the whole thing, is we're not a world of separate people. We really do need each other, that we all have a significant role in the totality of life. And for us to pull ourselves away and not think that we matter, that's what I think one of the gifts of cancer is that you do matter. And it's in challenges like this where people come out and go, oh, you're going through this. And all of a sudden they're telling you why you matter to them. Or um, when you can't do what you have always done, and all of a sudden there's this hole and people fill the hole, you also feel your hole. It's not being filled because you're taken out for a while. It's like, wow, I did matter, or I do matter. And so all of these little uh, ahas and little awakenings, I love that cancer is a wake up call, is just to valid, not just, is there to help validate you and that you matter. You're mattering. And that is one of the gifts of cancer, is knowing that you do matter. You have a contribution just by being you. It's not necessarily what you do. It is your being that matters. And people will say, well, I'm just sitting here. I'm not really mattering. But if you think about it, your breath adds life to this planet that feeds the trees and the flowers. Let me talk about flowers for a moment. I feel like I'm all over the place, but it does matter. It's We'll walk down a street and there'll be this rogue flower, and you go, oh, look, this is a flower growing out of the sidewalk. How weird. And you'll keep on walking. Cancer all of a sudden changes your lens and your attention. And it's like, wow, how beautiful is that? How strong and enduring does that seedling have to be to bust out of a sidewalk to provide beauty for me? And really, it's like, hello, do you remember that there's more life than this concrete jungle? It's There's so much beauty around us, and we get caught up in the rush and the pace of life that we forget everything
Mhm.
that's there in for us.
And it's so easy to overlook those small details. And what I'm also getting from what you're saying, which is a tool of ours to talk about perspective, but um we're always able to change our perspective at any time, in any way. Like it can be easier said than done for sure, but you have that choice to change your perspective on anything, really. What cancer kind of does when it comes in is it shifts it for you. You don't really have the choice to switch your lens when it comes to cancer in the immediate moment when you're getting that diagnosis, right? Like I'm certain that anyone who hears that diagnosis feels that immediate perspective shift, and now everything is through a different lens. And so when we're going through a cancer journey, it's so normal to feel like you're not yourself anymore. Like there's a definitive line between who you were before and who you are now. And I mean, to approach that space, that one little shift is really, really difficult. And it often is what feels like the main point, the turning point for people who are going through a cancer journey. Patients especially, and survivors when they look back, people who are metastatic. And it's really hard to be in this perspective without looking back at that past perspective and wanting that back and wanting everything that was there before, the ignorance, the innocence, however you want to look at it. It was like, oh god, life was so easy before. But when we are shifted to this perspective, we have another choice of which perspective we want to stand in, because maybe I was a little too judgmental in calling it ignorant. Maybe you get to choose if that was ignorance or innocence or better. A lot of times we think it was a better space to be in because it was easier. But if we're really thinking about it, were you getting everything you needed? Were you giving yourself away completely? Did you care about yourself at all, really? Did you put yourself first? And that's a perspective you can choose to be in post diagnosis. I mean, you can be there pre diagnosis too, but it just doesn't nearly happen as often. So that's also why it's so important for us to be in this cancer realm, because that shift is so like sinking, especially in that immediate moment, right? And we know more than a lot of people the emotional toll that that takes. Um, because all of this gets flustered around. Is that innocence? Was it ignorance? What do I want? What do I need now? What's going to happen now? Who's going to, like, so much happens in that flurry of that diagnosis call that on the other side of it, we need to regain control of what our perspective is, because truly that's all we have at that point, right? Like a lot is going to feel out of our control, out of our hands, when it comes to cancer. Like you don't get to say exactly how your body responds to treatment. You get to choose your treatment, you get to choose your people, and you get to have that kind of handled. And so it's easy to put armor around it and what we call being a warrior or martyrdom, or we'll get into that another time. But um when you're in this place, you get to choose what perspective do you want. Is this an opportunity for you to start really asking for what you want and taking care of yourself and really telling people what you want? All the people will ask you, they'll be happy to help, but a lot of people are like, let me know what you need. But if you don't tell them what you need, you're not going to get what you want. So there's such a shift that happens after that diagnosis. But that one pivot point is so um heavy when it comes to that shift and that demand for a perspective change.
For sure. I mean, I think there's more than just that major turning point on the
Mhm.
cancer journey roadmap, and which is why I love the cancer journey so much. And we wrote the book on it. So if you want to know more about the cancer journey roadmap, please check on Amazon. It's right there. It's called The Call of Cancer. And what I wanted to say about what you just said is I want to go back to that wake up call and how that's a pivotal moment. It is definitively the most pivotal because it's all of a sudden you think you're going down this path in your life. Let's just do it this way, this path. And all of a sudden you get that call, literally, and you're like, oh, I'm on another direction. My oncologist called it a detour that was holding it very light. You are definitely on another path. And all that we've been talking about is about this you on this path. And as a wake up call, it could be waking up more to you and your inner workings, but also just life in general. How have you been living your life? Do you like it? Were you bored? Were you complacent? Were you totally jazzed up? But maybe in a in not the way that was really serving your soul. Meaning, I used to be type A pre-cancer. I was type A. Get shit done, lead the charge. I mean, I was heading for success, whatever that meant. And I was burning myself out. But that's my goal, right? And I was happy because I was winning and I thought that felt good. The truth was I was giving up so much in for this particular happiness. Didn't know that. Got diagnosed with cancer, realized I can't keep going this way. And even though I knew that I was stressed, this is the message I said to myself. Oh, I can handle this stress. So let me practice handling more just because that might show up. So I just kept taking on more stress, thinking it was like a muscle that I had to work my stress muscle. No, stress is actually the enemy to us. So that was my wake up call. And then once I did, I found this part of me that is a type B person where I can slow down. I can pay attention to me. I can be what we call selfish, which is really self first. And that's the gift that cancer gave me was putting myself first, not at the expense of others. I get to still consider others, care about others, but I had to be there in the mix. A lot of people talk about the airplane and the oxygen mask. I mean, it's one of those situations that we're directed that if an oxygen mask comes down and you need to breathe oxygen, for you to take care of yourself first and then help those around you. It's the same thing. I wish we had a different type of analogy, but everybody can relate to that one. So yes, your oxygen mask needs to be put on first so that you can help those that you love so much and those all around you. And that's self first.
Mhm.
And that's what I learned. That was my gift through one of my cancer journeys.
Right. And it won't look the same for everyone, right? It won't look like type A to type B. And we're not saying that type B is better. But we are saying that type B is different. And so you got to see those changes in yourself. Like the silly things like having matching socks, which is for me a very type B thing. Like if you don't care if your socks match, so you're like, it's fine. That's very type B. So it's like those little things that don't matter, they don't need to matter. And you get to put those aside in lieu of putting your energy somewhere where it does matter and other ways you can take care of yourself. Um, I think it's so important to know that everyone's journey is going to look completely different and that saying cancer is a gift is still a really, really bold statement. Um, and when we say cancer is a gift, it is just really the perspective that we choose to stand in this company because yes, we have seen the whole cancer journey now that we're after it, but now that we've concluded that part of the journey and we can look back, as you said earlier on, like we can help those who also are there at the front of the line, getting their wake up calls, feeling completely helpless and feeling super lost, feeling like cancer is not a gift at all. What are you talking about? Like, well, those are the people that we're wanting to speak to because it's so hard. It's so hard to do it alone and feel like you're feeling alone in that. What we know more than anything is like for anyone who's experiencing a cancer journey, yes, we are all experiencing, we have an idea of what that feels like, but everyone's story is different and everyone's story is unique. And so to really be able to show up for people when, maybe the people around them don't truly understand what that journey looks like and they don't really have the understanding of how to go deep and really be with the really really hard emotions of it because that's what we do so well is be with the hard cancer is not a gift, you're wrong feelings. And be able to make you feel like there's hope. I think that's really what we offer. And I think that is so hard to find in such a realistic way when you are on a cancer journey, when things feel especially hopeless, you feel especially helpless. And you're not. We help regain your power, maybe not in the way that you expected, but in a way that still will impact your life very largely, not just here in this cancer feeling, in your whole being. We want to ground you in your full being and let you know that there is a way to have impact and power and change in life, no matter how long you have. And that's my takeaway.
Okay. Well, my takeaway is well, no, you continue. Takeaway, passion, and your word.
Oh, right. So my Pesh, physically 4.5, emotionally 4.75, spiritually 4.4, and hope is A 4.4, and my word is like embrace, like a
Mm,
hug, but the word embrace.
okay. My takeaway is this is not an easy journey, the cancer journey, whether you are a patient, survivor, thriver, or caregiver. It is challenging. We know that. And so we're not trying to be provocative. Yes, we are. When we say cancer is a gift. And it is an opening to living your best life, to finding out who you are at your core so that you can choose things that bring you joy every day, all the time, and live that way instead of complacent or bored or dissatisfied or driven. Like you can do things and get wonderful things done in the world, but it doesn't have to be from a warrior place, that the domination place. You can do it with dominion and with love and with care and foresight and vision, and that's where we stand. And when you do that, you'll find those gifts. And your gift is going to be different from mine and different from Alicia's and different from everybody else, but it's yours. And sometimes it's hard to find by yourself. I keep hearing this phrase, I don't know. I don't know. And of course, you don't know everything, but when we're together talking about you and helping you find that place, you'll know. You'll discover it. And that's our joy. Because when you get that aha, we get the aha, and it's just happiness all around. So that's my takeaway. Cancer is a gift in ways that you would never imagine. And my PESH is uh, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6. It's going up. So that's physical, emotional, spirit. And then my hope is 4.7. And my word is joy. Like, what if you think of cancer as boo, hiss, bah? That's one perspective. I invite you to stand into joy and what's possible.
Well, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with a new episode.
And I want you to really take a moment and be aware of all the things around you, the joy, the dog barks, people, and take a moment for yourself. So enjoy the rest of your day and remember, you're more powerful than you realize.